All right, so on page 100, you have a set of verbs that you need to know. Number one, you do need to know what they all mean, okay? But also, I just wanted to point out that these verbs follow the normal AR, ER, IR pattern, okay? So hopefully, well, I'm going to have faith that you guys have all that. The exception is that the yo forms, okay, are weird. All right. So basically, the only way to know the various yo forms is to memorize those. But everything else, tú, él, ella, nosotros, vosotros, all of that is just your regular ER, AR. Do we have an IR? Yes, we do. IR. Okay. Now, just one thing to point out is that estar, to be, okay, you also have to add accent marks, all right, on all of the A's, except for the nosotros form, all right. Some of you have not been putting accent marks on your test answers, and you have been losing half a point, because I did mention that without the accent marks, it is considered misspelled, all right. So, on to the main part, though, okay? And that is two of those verbs, saber and conocer. Both of these verbs mean to know, all right? Now, both saber and conocer have weird yo forms. So the yo form of saber is se, and yes, you need the accent mark, okay? The yo form of conocer is conozco. All right. Now, everything else, all right. Sabes, sabe, sabemos, sabéis, saben. Okay. Conoces, conoce, conocemos, conocéis, conocen. Just a regular ER verb. All right. So they both mean to know. All right. But we use saber to talk about knowing facts, knowing information, or knowing how to do things. All right. And you can look in your textbook for examples of this. Okay. So you know somebody's name, you know somebody's phone number, you know how to swim, you know how to read. Okay. In this case, you know Mike, you know your brother, you know your best friend's cousin. All right. Knowing people. You are familiar with places and things. So, you know, you have lived in New York all your life. So you're familiar with New York. In Espanol, you would say, conozco New York. Okay. And then it also means to meet for the first time. Okay. So that is also a possibility. The last thing, and this is important. In Spanish, we have a phenomenon known as the personal a, okay? Now, this does not exist in English. There is no translation for it, okay? A lot of times students want to find a translation. There isn't one, okay? It is something that is unique to Spanish. So what is the personal a? If the object of your sentence is a person, okay, you have to put an a in front of it, okay? So for example, conozco a Juan, all right? I know John. Some students are like, but wait, it's not I know to John or I know a John. No, it's not, okay? It does not translate. This is the personal a, and like I said, it is a phenomenon unique to Spanish, okay? So that whenever you have a person, all right, as the object, in this case it's the direct object, but we'll learn that in Español dos, you always have to have a personal a, okay? When you say that in English, it doesn't exist. So you just say, I know John. En español, conozco a Juan. Okay? No conozco al hombre. Now, it doesn't have to be a proper noun, like a proper name. It could just be any word that describes a person. I don't know the man, okay? But Santos, why is it al? Well, remember from earlier in the chapter, okay, whenever you have a plus l, it contracts into al. This also applies to the personal a. Okay, so instead of saying no conozco a el hombre, okay, it's al hombre. All right, and then finally, even when it means to meet, okay, necesito conocer a tu familia. I need to meet your family. Okay, once again, it doesn't exist in English. It doesn't translate. All right, don't try to translate it. Okay, but in Spanish, it has to be there because your family are people. All right, hopefully that helps.